Hey guys, this is That Male CNA, and today I wanted to talk about the role of a CNA in any type of healthcare facility, whether it be a hospital, a nursing home, a rehab center, or anything that has to do with taking care of geriatric patients. So let's get down to it. So we clock in and we report to our station, whether it's the rehab center or wherever type of facility you're working in. We go into our initial assignment. It's usually posted up on the front wall, or whoever's sitting at the front desk will tell us if we're on. In my facility, it's called Minnewaska or Alpha, whatever you want to break it down as. So A or B. We then go and we check in on my 3 to 11 shift. There's usually about 3 to 4 of us, depending on the day, usually 4, to care for about 45 residents, which are all short-term care rehab. That's Minnewaska, the place that I work in, or my unit. So the first thing we do is we go in, we check in, clock in, we get all settled in, and then we really get our initial assignment. So usually I take group B, which is 13 to 14 people, depending on how many people are there for that day. There could be a number of different factors which may limit me to having one person taken off or 2 people taken off if that day someone's refusing cares or someone just doesn't want a male aide, and some females really don't want that. But let's get back on point. So what I wanted to do today was really discuss the role of the male or a female CNA inside the workplace. So the initial rounds we do is just making sure that everyone's A-okay. We're just making sure that they're happy. We're seeing if there's anything that we could do for them before we really start buckling down and doing our first round changes, getting people up that need to be up for dinner, getting people that need to be out of bed for maybe whatever particular reason for a certain period of time. Maybe they've been sitting in a certain spot for too long, or they just feel like getting up, so we get them up. So then after that, we go down and we figure out who needs to take a shower. And usually with my group, it's people who prefer like a bed bath over taking the next shower because they feel like they can't stand up, or they can't just don't feel like getting out of their beds. So we just give them a bed bath and over a shower. And for some reason, many of my residents prefer the bed bath over the shower, because maybe they just don't feel like getting up. So it's usually 2 to 3 people that you have to shower towards the beginning of the shift. So I usually like to get them done before dinner starts, and they prefer it that way just because they don't want to be humid and sweaty feeling and sticky after getting out of the shower. Although to me that doesn't make any sense, but they're the way they are for a reason. So then after that, we get everyone cleaned up. You get them done with our first initial round changes. I like to do the people that I know are the heaviest sweaters first. So that's about 3 people on my shift. There's one lady I change like 4 or 5 times a night, but that's because she wants to be done because she feels like the overnight doesn't tend to her very often, but that's besides the point. So the next thing that we're going to proceed to is getting our docs done. And everyone who's a CNA watching this video knows exactly what I'm talking about. Our documentation has all of their personal healthcare information, and it's because of HIPAA, I can't really say anything about that, so carrying on. I like to get done with my docs, and then next I move on to getting our trays set up, and that usually comes around 5:10, 5:15. Of course the kitchen can be short-staffed that particular day, they're running late, which throws everything off for the rest of us, but there's nothing really we could do. The residents got to eat, so hey, that's what we got to do. So after that, the people that are up and need to be fed, especially due to this coronavirus, we only have 6 of the most needed to be observed people on our entire unit. So that's about 5 or 6 different people that sit at tables which are 6 feet apart, according to what the CDC has out for us or whatever their guidelines are saying. And that's understandable. We don't want to take any chances, especially with the stuff that's going on. So after that, we start to get people cleaned up. We get everyone back into the bed. After their showers are done, after they're done being fed, everyone has to stick to their room now, also because of COVID-19. Well, that's besides the point. You see us walking around in our little mask and gloves all over the time. It's pretty hot in those things. So after that, We get our people back in beds, and whatever assignment you have, we always have to work together no matter what it is. I've worked in a facility where there was absolutely no teamwork, no cohesion, and everyone seemed to always be running behind. Very stressful, very intolerable environment, to say the least. But where I currently work, everyone works together. We get everyone done. Everyone's usually in bed at the latest 9:15, 9:30, and those are the people that prefer to stay up that late. You know, I feel like I want to fall asleep at that point because everything just starts to get so slow, and I'm just like, okay, all the energy's coming down. So we move on. We do our our bed making, all that good stuff. We get the people changed. We get people hooked up to their oxygen. We just get people really done and taken care of at that point. I want to say by like 9 o'clock is when I'm pretty much done with my assignment. I make my first rounds, as I said at the beginning of the shift, to do the heaviest wetters. My second round is everybody, whether it's getting their right after the dinner, it's getting their there's getting colostomy bags changed, getting everyone pulse, respirations, just making sure their blood pressure's okay, just doing all that initial stuff. Then we move on to work with the LPNs or whatever treatments need to be done, under their direct supervision. And then we move on to getting whoever needs their medicine throughout the shift. They get that all taken care of. We answer the call bells throughout the shift. And of course, all my fellow CNAs know exactly what I'm talking about. So then after that, it's around 9:30, 9:45, and that's when things are pretty quiet for that half-hour block or so. And then the people that are in bed say, hey, I need to be changed again. So that's when I personally start doing my third rounds and just making sure everyone's nice and, relaxed and be able to comfortable in that environment. Because as I said, and I will probably continue to say at least one time in every single video from here on out, is that it is their home. We are there to make them as comfortable as possible because this is their place to live on. We are only there to make their day better. And at the end of the day, as long as I see a smile on their face, that's all I care about. So then after that, we move on. They're all done. They're all getting ready. And I do the rest of my documentation, which means, getting all the rest of the docs done. And then you have the late night callers. I really only have one person that I have to put in bed around like 10 o'clock. She just prefers that because she doesn't want to be stuck in the bed, because usually she is half the time, and let it rock. So that's when you start getting the drinks for the people who want them for the overnight, for people that really need their late night snacks, all that good stuff. Always make sure everyone's all set up, their teeth are brushed, all that good stuff. People hooked up to their oxygen that need to be. It's a nice learning curve because it will definitely help me getting into being an LPN later on. And it's just nice to know that everyone's relaxed and in bed at that point. So you also have the people that like to do themselves, and of course we encourage every little ounce of independence that we can, and that's always a good thing. We continue to answer call bells, and then we get to around the 10:15, 10:30 point where it's usually pretty quiet, and then that's when I make my final rounds. And of course all the CNAs know this is when the people like to start ringing the most. As soon as they know that the shifts people are going to end at this point, that's when they all want to be changed again. And of course we do. And there's usually 3 or 4 people out of my, I want to say 12 or 13 that need to be changed again because they're heavy wetters, but it's understandable, like I said. So that pretty much sums up my everyday activities as a CNA. As I said, there's really no difference between the male and the female, except some of the female residents prefer to have a female in there, or they just prefer not to have any males in contact with them whatsoever. And it's completely understandable. So I just wanted to end this video by letting you guys know that's a little bit of an insight to the daily life of a CNA. Well, in particular to where I work, it varies from environment to environment, and that's pretty much it. I appreciate you guys watching the video, checking it out, and hopefully upload in the next couple days. All right, peace.